Welcome. This is so fucking. Welcome to Trenton Talks. This is a little bit of a different format. In this Trenton Talks, I'm going to be talking about the worst movie I've seen all year. Not including Madam Web.
In his opinion.
Not including Madam Web, actually. Madam Web was just awful. I saw this literally last night with Mr. Jackson over here. Say anything, Mr. Jackson.
Anything.
So true, bestie. Slay that queen. I'm going to let Jackson go first.
I liked Howls Moving Castle. Trenton made a lot of good points about why he didn't like it, but I like it because I like the characters. They're really stupid and goofy. Like Calcifer is my favorite, and the little fire demon that controls the castle.
See, I actually liked Calcifer. I feel like he had I feel like his character was written well. Probably one of the best written characters of the movie, like comedy wise and just dialogue wise.
Yeah, and I mean, Trenton will get into this, but there were a lot of parts of the movie and actions the characters made that was like, okay, why did they do that? But overall, it follows a simple story. When you just look at bare bones of it, put a curse on her so she goes to Howl. Meanwhile, there's a war going on.
Yeah, and that's simple and that's fine. I feel like it would have been fine if that's what that movie was all about. Mm-hmm. But they introduced so much shit that didn't need to be introduced. For example, for people who haven't seen Howls Moving Castle, there's I feel like I might be exaggerating this number a little bit. There are 6 different plot points going on in the movie at one time. Which is, it might sound like it's a lot to keep up with. It's not. Honestly, I kept up with at least 5 of them well. One of the main plot points, not so much. But there was so many fucking plot points that were just started and then never talked about again in the movie. I think you can already tell, but spoiler alert, obviously. In one of the sections of the movie, the mother betrays her daughter, and it's not even explained why she does it, or what was the motive behind it. Because all she says all the mother says is, "Take me back to my husband," or something like that, right? Yeah, exactly. It's not explained. Why did you have to do this to be taken back with your husband? Where's your husband? I didn't even know
Who is your husband?
Another thing, we didn't even know that she has a husband. It wasn't talked about in the beginning of the film.
When she has daughters, she must have had a husband at the beginning, but then it was all "Oh, I got remarried" or whatever. Yeah,
she says she got remarried. We don't know who she's remarried to. It's come on. We weren't shown anything about this guy. We can't even use our imaginations because there's no description of this guy. Seriously. I seriously can't think of any description. Can you?
I don't know. Man.
I hope so.
I guess. I mean, as a counterpoint, what would be the purpose of showing the husband anyway? In terms of the main story.
I don't think there would be a purpose to it, okay? No. I 100% agree that there is no purpose to it. But I can't even fill out a blank of what this guy looks like.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, it could be Elon Musk for all we care. It doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm going to start imagining him as EDP445 now, at this rate, because there's no fucking description of him. So, she
married EDP445.
Yeah, she married EDP445. She married Eat That Pussy, okay?
Uh-huh. Eat that pussy and that cupcake.
Got married to the cupcake.
It was the cupcake she married and not EDP himself?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, let me rephrase that. She got married to the cupcake, yes. A man who's a cupcake.
So my discernment of her husband was way off in your opinion.
Obviously, because it's a cupcake with legs and a fucking frosting in a face. Get it right.
That would fit in the world because there was a hopping scarecrow and a talking fire. So I wouldn't imagine there being like I would imagine there being a cupcake with legs. It could fit.
There was a scarecrow with a fucking turnip as a head.
Yeah, turnip head.
And I will say that is my second favorite movie of the character. That was like second favorite character.
Second favorite movie of the character.
Favorite movie of the character.
They should make a movie based off Turnip Head.
Yeah.
Just in general, he's the best character. He says nothing. That means he can't be obnoxious, and he hops around, and that's how he moves. And he does a little spin sometimes too.
And he just helps out the main character.
Yeah.
But now what I'm going to be saying goes back to the unfinished plot points, or the plot points that don't make sense. And like, dude, I will get into the ending of this movie after we're all done with this huge fucking rant, because the ending,
Ending's very sudden, I do have to say.
So, basically, the turnip boy is turned out to be a prince who was missing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, was there any lead up to this prince who was missing in the film at all? No.
I don't remember any.
I don't remember the prince even who was missing being mentioned a single time by any of the characters in that film.
I feel like it may have been once, but I don't remember exactly. And it was probably just some like bypassing dialogue that I didn't think too much about.
Yeah, it could have been like, oh yeah, the prince is gone. Anyways, like that kind of thing, I guess. But it's like the end of the movie, the turn-up is revealed to be the fucking prince after he kisses the main girl character. And then, because I guess Tuna Boy has a crush on the main girl character, and then it was found out that she was dating Howl, and then the Tuna Boy was like, oh, that sucks.
But anyway, guess I gotta go home.
Anyways, I guess I gotta move on!
Yep.
Like, there's like nothing! There was nothing of value out of it. I feel like the turn-up thing could have stayed a turn-up thing, and the movie would have been 100% fine. Not 100% fine. But the movie, that plot point would have just been done with, left there. The turn-up would have just been like left behind. As sad as that ending would have been, it feels like it would be a better ending than just, oh, he's magically a prince now.
He would have been better just kept as a scarecrow. And I definitely think the main point of the movie is the relationship between Howl and Sophie.
Yes. And
that is the main focus, but they have to do so many other things for it to like make sense.
And that just tosses the Sophie and like Howl storyline out the window, because this is supposed to be like, this movie is supposed to be, again, like you said, the kind of like romance between the two. But it's not, because there's 6 other fucking plot points going on to the point where you barely even get the romance. Like there's little hints of romance sprinkled in, but it's not enough for me to be justified. Like, okay, I can see why you love this character. Like, I can see why you love him. I can see why he loves you. I don't even know why they love each other. Arguably, do you know that?
No.
The romance movie without fucking talking about the romance is insane.
I think I mean, for me, how love works is there's never really a reason to fall in love with someone. It just kind of does happen. So I think in that point, it's semi-realistic.
I guess, but like,
with a movie with witches and wizards and magic and ships that are supposed to that fly but aren't supposed to.
Let me rephrase this, because I think I might have said it wrong. But like, we don't even get like good descriptions of the character, like what she loves about him or what he loves about her, right? Like, I don't envision that in my head. Like, oh yeah, this is what they definitely love about each other.
I mean, can you list off the reasons why you love the people that you do?
Well, let's start with you, of course, in a fashion.
Oh, romantically. Yeah, I mean, there's no concrete reasons. They do just fall in love, but it's like...
Well, yeah, everyone just falls in love with someone without a concrete reason. But
exactly.
I feel like you can realize...
That's the point.
Yeah, I feel like you can kind of concretely, like, you can realize the concrete, like, moments later on, right?
Okay. But think about this film as like you're looking in on their lives.
Okay.
And you don't really see what's going on in their head all that often.
That's true.
And imagine if you're seeing two other people falling in love, like watching them, maybe in a creepy way, maybe not. It doesn't matter. All right. Would you be able to nail down the reasons why they love each other?
You're right about that. I probably wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. So it's all supposed to be... I feel like... I could be wrong, but I feel like a major factor or like major theme of Japanese shows is that the audience feels like like an outsider looking in. Even though there are monologues of the characters, it does kind of, it feels that way. And I guess it feels that way for a lot of other shows too. Like, I guess an example is 13 Reasons Why.
Never seen it.
Okay. But anyway, you feel like an outsider looking in on these characters, and you're never really, especially in the later seasons when Bryce, for people who know, he starts to be somewhat redeemed in the later season, and you can either like him for that or still hate him. The show's never gives you a concrete reason to hate these characters, or like you can think what you want, essentially. I don't like Bryce, to make that clear. He's
How bad is Bryce?
So he's one of the 13 reasons why Hannah killed herself.
Oh, okay.
And they were both.
Wait, so that's what that show's about?
Yeah. What did you think? What did you think people meant by "You're my 13th reason"?
Okay, well, I knew that. I didn't realize it came from. Well, not it came from, but I didn't realize that's what 13 Reasons Why would be about.
But essentially, you feel like somebody looking in, and you're given the opportunity to feel what you want about those characters. It's the same kind of thing as Howls Moving Castle. Howls Moving Castle is the same thing. You're never really let in on what these characters are thinking or feeling.
Yeah, that's
so fair. Yeah. And again, the whole point is not these little mini side quests. It really focuses a lot on the message of, like, because Trenton, you asked me about this when we were leaving, is why does sometimes she go back to being young and then other times is old?
Because in the movie she gets cursed by a witch where she looks old at certain points and looks young at certain points. And at least how I felt. Here's how I felt. I felt like it wasn't clearly like described well why she would just turn back randomly. Well, there's obviously a reason, but for me, while watching it at the time, it just kind of felt randomly, like there was no point where, okay, this is when she's definitely turning it into it, this is definitely when she's turning old or young. So I literally asked you about this because I was just so confused.
Mm-hmm. And my answer was, she turns young when she perceives herself as beautiful and turns old when she perceives herself as ugly.
Which, after watching the film, after hearing that, I can now understand it, because when you watch the film, you realize that she doesn't, like, feel pretty or beautiful, which I feel like is something a lot of people struggle with, right? Like, I'm, not to be parasocial or anything, but even though this whole show is being about parasocial, I sometimes don't feel like there'll be days I wake up where I'm like, oh, I think I'm handsome, and then the other days I wake up where I'm like, oh, I look like shit. Right, and I feel like maybe I'm speaking for yourself, but maybe you also feel like this as well.
Dude, totally. I feel ugly when I don't have a beard.
Okay, I don't know. I feel like I look better with the beard and the mustache. I'll be honest with that. I don't like the neck beard, but I feel like I look better with the neck beard. But this is another weird side tangent.
That's a bit complicated. Yeah. Can you not, like, grow hair on the front?
No.
Here? Oh, you can't.
The only places I can go hair front is here, and then right here and right here.
I see. Yeah, because I can't grow a mustache or anything down here. It's all, like, bare, like, under my lip here. Anyway.
But yeah, so once you, like, watch them, I feel like, here's another thing about Howls Moving Castle. I feel like maybe I'll appreciate it more if I watch it a second time.
That could be true.
Because I feel like, even though I kept up with most of the plot points that happened during the film, I feel like there's still a lot being thrown at you to the point where you couldn't appreciate every story part. Even the ones that didn't get finished all the way, I don't feel like I truly got to enjoy those parts because I was trying to focus on the four other plot points of this movie.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely feel like it feels a lot more like a slice of life kind of thing. Yeah. And you just see these characters going through their normal lives. At least at the beginning. And it's them trying to deal with these feelings of ugliness, and especially Howell after the whole debacle of mixing up his potions in the bathroom, which I guess dyed his hair or something. Oh,
dear God. Do we want to talk about the potion shit?
No.
I actually genuinely did not understand the potion shit. Like, just because I feel like the potions could have been described better. Like, I don't think the potions really just changed his hair. I feel like there's more to it. Because this,
I also feel like there'd be more to it, but it also only seemed to affect his hair.
yeah, but he was like so angry about it, right? Like maybe he's more self-conscious about his like hair than Sophie is. But also, it just comes to another point of like, there's definitely more reasons than that. Like, there has to be
Hmm.
another reason. Like, in the movie, Howl's like a bird-human hybrid.
He can turn into a bird.
Yeah. So maybe I feel like maybe like that, like the bath would like regenerate his bird powers or something like that. Because he did mention after he, that's another spoiler, but he was coming in with like blood on his
Talons.
talents, thank you. And he asked the fire to start the water. And I feel like the potions would have maybe also been used as like a sort of a healing aspect too.
Perhaps.
But like that's not really like fully described or anything like that. Because the only thing, like you said, the only thing we see about the potions is changes the funny little hair color.
Mm-hmm. And that's such a minute. Maybe it's supposed to be that. Maybe it's supposed to only change his hair, and the fact that it's such a little minute detail, but he makes it such. So I feel like the reason he made such a deal out of it of such a minute detail. And I think that's the point. It's like kind of the same thing is a similar thing as Sophie because she perceives herself as ugly, but there's no reason, or maybe there's maybe a tiny reason. We just don't know. But she's they're both making such a big deal about being pretty or ugly, even though it's such a minute detail that it doesn't change anything really. And that I feel like that would play into the message
Yeah, it could be.
of like you are you are pretty, you are beautiful, and it all just depends on how you see yourself. Stuff like that, and also because when he saw himself as ugly, he started melting into goo.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that detail.
like see yourself as pretty, and you are pretty, kind of stuff.
We haven't really touched upon the war, but like,
The war was really random. It just kind of showed up.
yeah, not only did the war just like randomly show up like in the movie, it was just like, oh, funny little war is going on, ha ha ha. But it was kind of just like the war really has no point in the movie. Like I get like, but like we didn't see I think we did see like the effects of the war on the towns, but we haven't seen like anyone really go out to battle. We've just seen the after effects or like things like that. So we couldn't like really like understand how bad this war is, and we didn't really have history of the war up until this point, right?
Right. Howell at first didn't want to fight in the war.
Yeah.
He would just go out in his bird form and whatever he did in that like the black colored door. It was only until Sophie and everyone else was in danger that he actually took part in the war. He didn't want it to happen. He was very anti-war. And it was just, it built up to start affecting everybody, and that's when it got more involved.
Yeah, but like, and I will say this about the war part. I feel like the war part matched the romance part well at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Definitely. But like in the middle part where both the war and the romance was going on, it kind of felt conflicting in a way for me. At least I saw it that way. I don't think many people would see it that way, but it's like I don't know. I feel like it just goes back to the point of I wish I knew what both characters were thinking. And I think that just might be like my main complaint, and I get that that's such a stupid fucking complaint. But like if I feel like I would be more like involved in the characters and their stories and their lives, I knew what each character was thinking. Because like there's like many movies I've seen, like The Wild Robot it's a weird comparison, but it's the movie I saw before seeing that movie because I saw two movies that day. And in that movie, I know what all characters are thinking about, and I got more invested in the lives of the characters. I even cried at The Wild Robot at a fucking kids movie. I cried. I tweeted. I cried.
I saw that tweet.
And I cried because the robot was getting her memories wiped.
Ooh.
And like basically she's been raising this bird as a son. And the bird never called the robot like his mom. And the bird is like flying out to try and save the robot, and like the bird's trying to talk to the robot and the robot's not responding in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden the bird goes, "I love you, Mom." And it's just the movie's silent. There's nothing. And the bird starts walking out as the robot's just kind of like not responding. And then the robot finally responds and like There's all this weird coma shit that she's in.
Mm-hmm.
But like I full on cried at that point because I could feel the emotions. I could feel like what each character was thinking. I could feel what each character thought about the other character, and I haven't said in the movie. I could feel all that.
Like, so you're saying there's not much emotion?
No, not much
in
of
characters in Howl.
No.
That is at least perceived.
Yeah, that I could at least like decipher.
Okay.
Because I'm not a therapist.
No,
Fun
I'm
fact.
sure actually. You know, cinema therapy. That one channel I showed you that did
Yeah.
Inside Out. I bet they did a video on Howls Moving Castle, and that could probably let you in on a lot more stuff.
By the way, shout out to Cinema Therapy real quick. They make actually some decent, like, in-depth talks about movies and the emotions in movies.
They're great.
But I feel like that's like all the main like plot point shit that I wanted to talk about. Because like there was like mini plot points. Oh, the hat shop. The hat shop never got brought up again, did it? It was just kind of like there for the beginning of the movie, and then oh no, it's briefly destroyed. Fuck.
Well, so Hal moved them back into the hat shop when he was trying to run away from Solomon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
And so that's why that's why the hat shop was so important.
Okay, good.
But I mean, the hat shop is just a tiny part. That's just to introduce Sophie in the world and all that.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. She could have been working at a fucking iPhone factory. All right, it wouldn't matter.
Sophie, your quota's late. God damn it! I only made 49 iPhones instead of 50.
They're gonna dock my pay.
Animation wise, I mean, granted, it's a Studio Ghibli film, so animation's gonna be great. The background look was great too. I feel like some of it was painted.
It definitely was.
And honestly, I appreciate that kind of like painted detail.
Yeah,
there.
Especially the castle and all the ships. Those were definitely water painted.
Yeah, the water painting for the backgrounds and shit looked nice. The characters looked nice. Characters looked nice. I don't really have any complaints about the animation. I just kind of wish I just would feel more involved with the characters. I think that's my main takeaway from Howls Moving Castle.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main takeaways. I wish I could feel the characters more and understand their kind of like
their motives
more.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like maybe I might be crazy for saying this. Maybe if I watch the movie a second time, I'll understand the characters a bit more and relate to the characters more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think on my first watch through I got that.
Yeah, I know the if I can take this the inclusion of like the Witch of the Waste becoming senile and also having that dog, it was a little bit strange. What a nice fire. She turned so nice. I also have to add the scene of those two struggling to walk up the stairs is like the best part of that entire movie.
That was funny.
Yeah, and you whispered to me and it was like, you in gym class. I'm like, thanks, Trenton. Thanks, Trenton.
I forgot I said that.
Yeah. But anyway, I do like when you brought up relatability, I think the big part is being able to relate to these characters, and that's when you can kind of like, I see what they're thinking or I see why they're doing this. Because if you can't see yourself in someone like Sophie, then it would be like, you know, like kind of like why. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and you also brought up why there's no really reason why they love each other, and that's also supposed to be a relatable point. It's like there's definitely people that you've fallen in love, or you've seen someone and you do fall in love with them, but you can't really decipher your own concrete reason without having to really sit down and think about it for a while.
That's true.
And so I feel like that's where the movie's definitely going, because I've had that all the time. So I could definitely I wouldn't say I saw a little bit of myself in Sophie, of like the feeling of ugliness, and then just seeing this meeting this person that is all powerful, and you love them for very little reason. You just kind of do, and that they're there for you. The character I've related to the most that I've seen in any media is Legoshi from Beastars, and that is, I'm not kidding, Trenton. I know you want to laugh.
No, I'm laughing because like, here's the thing, right? I don't know if you've ever seen like content that me and Jackson have done together. Okay, you might have. I don't fucking know. I don't know your lifestyle.
Well, I bring it up a lot. You mean to say?
But he brings it up a lot, and 75% of the time it's a bit, and then 25% of the time you're being dead serious. And this is the point where I can't decipher. Because again, 75%, I feel like you're bringing it up as a bit, and then 25, again, you're being serious.
I do bring it up as a bit a lot.
So I can never fucking tell.
I know you and Jordan are so upset when I bring it up, like, during the podcast episode. It's like, what's your guys' favorite anime? And I just start maniacally laughing. And you two knew what was coming. But no, I do see myself in Legacy a lot, especially, like, my middle school, high school days. Where I was above average in height. And I was also very quiet, reserved, and I didn't really have anyone to be friends with or anyone to fall in love with, so I just kind of felt on my own. But that's unrelated.
I think it's kind of related to what we're talking about.
It's kind of related. To enjoy a movie or a show, characters have to be somewhat relatable.
Yes.
And also to understand the show further, you have to really relate. So I related to Sophie a lot. And I guess I say to like, but it's really more to understand, because I like to watch Dexter, a show about a serial killer, and I can't relate to him all that often, but I still like it. We're not going to bring that up.
Let's not talk about the victims of September 2012.
Yeah, 2012. When I was 11. Not even 11, for fuck's sake.
Gotta start off young.
2012. I was 7. I was 7.
Gotta start off young.
Yeah, I killed people when I was 7. Anyway.
Twinsies.
But oh right, yeah. We're it's same year. Wait, what month were you born?
March.
Fuck. You're 4 months older than me.
This is a weird fun fact, but I am a month younger than YouTube. Not exactly a month, but YouTube was February 14th, I think. February 14th or 15th, and I'm March 5th.
Good job. Anyway, but it's just to really understand a show, you have to relate. And I'm sure maybe after this and you go see it a second time, you can remember our talk and be like, okay, I see how I can relate to these characters a bit more.
I probably will.
But yeah, maybe that means you like it. If you can understand it, that means you like it. You don't have to understand something to like it. Not all the time. For 2001: A Space Odyssey, I didn't understand what was going on at all, and I hated it because I didn't. But you also don't have to understand it to know. Yeah. Really.
I think that Ponyo is another, is a Studio Ghibli film I love. Can I relate to me being turned from a fish into a human? No. I can't relate to that, fun fact. But I feel like I don't feel like that movie's very relatable. I just feel like it has really solid writing, and it's really easy to follow through. Because I can't imagine having a pseudo marriage at 9 or 10 years old.
I've never seen Ponyo, so I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
This sounds fucking crazy if you've never seen Ponyo.
This is crazy. I didn't even know it was about a fish that got turned into a human. What's happening here?
That's so funny.
Ugh, man. But yeah, the main point of Howls Moving Castle is to have that relatability and be like, oh yeah, that's totally me.
Yeah.
The plot points, the main plot is not the main focus. And maybe you don't like movies like that. I know I don't often. Just like how I brought up 2001, that's a much more metaphorical and sense of a movie, and there's not too much of a story there. But I mean, yeah, I still liked it because I could relate to the characters, and also the art and the goofy characters like Turniphead and Calcifer. They're my favorite.
This is a Turniphead household. We stand Turniphead.
We stand Turniphead. I'm going to get a poster, put them right here, or maybe on my ceiling so you could watch me while I sleep and I feel comfortable.
Not going to comment on that.
Because I definitely know Turniphead's not a far-right conservative like my parents are.